From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a huge day for June 23rd, 2022, with your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. A big stimulus check has now landed in every U.S. state, and in this reporting, we're going to go over those big checks and why you got to get them, because the downward spiral of this economy is very pronounced, and by September, we're going to have major problems with this economy. Then in January, we go into recession. In today's recording, we're going to have a special report where we look at the recession and how likely it's going to happen, because gasoline prices remain high and were not being solved by the White House. The White House announcing a major program overnight, but it doesn't give you the type of assistance you want. How much? $1. The President of the United States will be giving you $1.82 of stimulus. Not me. I'm giving you a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. I'm giving you upwards of $80,000 of forced stimulus checks in today's recording. I found them, and they've been lost since the month of January. Go into this video and become a member. Subscribe and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday that has a new offering that will be detailed later in today's recording. That forced stimulus check in every U.S. state is important because guess what's also happening in the next 60 days? Congress goes on recess. And the President of the United States, we have major news across the board today, as he's likely to announce the student loan debt forgiveness in the next 30 days. He's likely to announce more situations to dealing with the airlines, as more airline shortages could be crippling the American economy July 4th weekend. We have new details today about the decision of Sweet versus Cardano and its impact on your student loan debt forgiveness. We have also big problems today about labor, the unemployment situation, and what happened with more corporate layoffs today as well. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, you can't wait for a recession to hit, because that's next year. You need money right now. You need to survive between now and September, because that's when the economy is getting very grim across the board. How do you do it? You go under this video and you subscribe. Then you become a member. Hit that membership link and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And in this recording, we go over those incredible checks in every U.S. state. It's America's most loved show at the midday. It's Afternoons, and the excitement starts right now. And good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Are you having a great day? It's very warm here in Southern California for June 23rd, 2022. But the great news is that your hand will warm up, because there's going to be a forced stimulus check in your hand. Later in this recording, when you get those checks in your hands, single, married, without children, with children, on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, adults, young, seniors, with children, without, rent or own. I got a forced stimulus check for all of you. Congratulations. It's coming up later in this video. What do you need to do is go into the video, subscribe. This is America's most watched financial news show in prime time, but LA is the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, heading to number 2 with the rollout of the new LA less than 90 days away. What's also happening less than 90 days away? Americans are going to have a rude awakening that their money is worth a lot less as we go into a downward spiral in this economy, and we go over all those details starting right now for June 23rd, 2022. How are you? Hope you're having a very beautiful day. You know, you always wonder when the rest of the American people wake up and realize, this is not good. This is not good. And that wake-up call, in my opinion, will be around September, when we go from phase 1 right now to phase 2. In every recording, I do 3 things. I get you stimulus checks later in the recording. Then I also tell you where this economy is and where it's going. And you need to know that precisely. Why? Because this economy is changing so dramatically, and it's going to be the worst economy you've seen in a generation in less than 6 months. So you need to know where it is at a single moment. That's why you can't miss a breaking news report like we have starting right now. Student loan debt forgiveness will likely be announced in the month of July or August by the President of the United States, the President now is suggesting. In an address obtained by LA News, the President told reporters that he's near to a decision on that student loan debt forgiveness. Again, this will be for federal student loan debts. and that the decision is likely to come in July or August, but he's likely to extend the loan repayment program later than August, which is about to expire, to make sure he gets it done. What's likely the number? Exactly what I've been reporting on this channel for 6 months. $10,000 is likely the amount he's going to forgive for individuals who make $150,000 or less. Breaking news also on student loan debt forgiveness today, June 23rd, is that there's a federal lawsuit that's been pending for a while against Department of Education. That's why it's called Sweet versus Cardano. Cardano is, of course, your Secretary of Education. And the Department of Education announced a settlement agreement with that case. So the borrowers in those cases, of which there's 200,000 of them, will get full cancellation of their debt. Price tag $6 billion. Consumer confidence is falling dramatically today, and this is as the new labor numbers were released earlier today. I'll feed through tonight on Evenings at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Brand new show tonight. Do not miss it. But here's the consumer confidence. Bad. People who are comfortable with their emergency savings was 54% 2 years ago. Today, it's 42%. It means 60+% is not happy with how much they have saved in the bank. How much are you happy? Unhappy or happy? Post in the live chat right now. What's your reaction? Then the percentage of people who are uncomfortable with the amount of money they have set aside is now at 58%. Who are uncomfortable with the amount of money they set aside is now 58%, when it was 44% just 2 years ago. So you comfortable or uncomfortable about how much money you have saved? I bet a lot of you in the live chat say, I have nothing saved. So that's basically uncomfortable as well. Consumer confidence down, consumer savings down, consumer spending down. And what you're going to learn in this recording is that Americans that watch this channel know where we're going, where we are, and how to prepare for it. But people who don't are going to have a rude awakening. The number one most listened to song in America today is about the great resignation. That great resignation is about people quitting their jobs and having freedom in their lifestyles. Yes, but here's what's at issue, is that Liz Warren went over this exact issue yesterday. That what Jay Powell's doing at Federal Reserve is going to cause massive unemployment, and people are going to have no unemployment stimulus. So don't sit back and, we all love a good song. I love her and I love that singer, but let's make it very clear. Do not celebrate unemployment, because there is no FPUC, PUA, PEUC, or EIDL or EIDL grants for any of you if you're unemployed. And the likelihood you're going to get reemployed is very slim now. Number of corporate layoffs continue to come day in and day out. We had Tesla, we had Coinbase, 10%, 18% today. We have 300 more employees for Netflix. And they announced that they're going to also get rid of 150 positions altogether. Sadly, today we're letting go about 300 employees. We have significantly to invest in the business, and we have to do things, making things leaner and meaner. Airlines, same situation. Airlines cutting back production, cutting back services, and that means less employees, less money for you if you work for the airlines. American Airlines removing 4 cities completely from their coverage, gone, are Islip, Toledo. Wasn't I making jokes about Toledo 2 days ago? Now you can't fly to Toledo. I guess they were watching this channel. If you don't know what's going on, I was making the joke the last few days that no one would fly to Toledo on a round trip ticket of $500 round trip. And guess what they did? They got rid of Toledo. I guess they watched this channel. Ithaca gone, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. Dubuque, I don't know, will all lose their services from American Airlines starting on September 7th. Meantime, United Airlines is cutting 50% of their flights out of Newark Liberty International Airport. Wow, you won't be able to visit the Real Housewives of New Jersey anymore. Just shocking. And here's what you need to know, and we're going to go over the breaking news starting right now. Yesterday, the President of the United States announced a potential federal gas holiday. This is not a case for a parade. This is not a special potluck dinner. This is a federal tax holiday where you would not have to pay taxes on the gasoline you pay at the pump to the federal government. And he said working Americans, so if you're not working, he's not looking for you. If you're seniors, he's not talking about you. Just working Americans need a little more wiggle room, a little bit more breathing space. He's very big about breathing. Y'all need a little more breathing space. How much breathing space is Joe Biden giving you? $1.80. Sorry, I'm not breathing at $1.80. Even those, petrol fumes from the car in front of me. $1.80. What's the breathing room on $1.80? The President of the United States appeared before broadcast news yesterday and had this great triumphant speech that he's giving you. He's giving you a big breathing room, or a little breathing room if you're a working American, by giving you a federal tax holiday on gasoline. Now, as you saw last night on Edith LA, I don't know what's going on with this White House. Either no one knows how to do math, no one has any understanding of mathematical principles, or they really are they've not breathed enough. They need to breathe more. The White House clearly did not run the numbers. 18 cents is the number is the amount of federal tax per gallon in the United States since the 1980s. So the average car has a $10 10 gallon gas tank. 10 gallons times 18 cents is $1.80. So you're going to fill up the gas tank, it's 10 gallons, and it's, let's say, $6 a gallon. You're paying $60 at the pump. He's giving you $1 off, $1.80. A little breathing room for the American people. Yeah. Now, if you watched someone else, you watched any other broadcast channel that's not number 3 in America right now, heading to number 2, they'd say this is great stimulus for you. No, I ran the numbers. It's $1.80. It's $1.80. Latest recording, I'm not getting you $1.80 in stimulus checks. I'm not getting you $1,800 in stimulus checks. I'm getting you $80,000 in stimulus checks. I know money, and I know it really well, and I'm not getting you a ridiculous $1.80 of stimulus laying this recording. I'm getting you $80,000. It's coming up later in this recording. But here's what you also need to know, is that this guy, Joe Biden, he's fully responsible for getting gasoline replaced, and he also announced yesterday, according to him, his success on releasing the strategic reserves. You know, it's really great when someone tells you how successful they are. Well, that's sort of me. I always been telling you how great I was on predicting recession, predicting inflation, predicting labor numbers day in, day out on the channel. Yeah, I'm so successful at this. Well, it was Joe Biden yesterday telling you how successful he is on getting 1 million barrels of gasoline released a day for 6 months from the strategic reserves, and how it's going to give a little more breathing room for the average working American. It hasn't worked. And yet he's always still telling you it works. And when he announced it months ago, I said it was not going to work, and immediately it didn't work. Rose price of gasoline to $1.20 a barrel, international Brent crude. Yesterday, the President of the United States again talked about how he thinks this is doing something. It's not working. Meantime, the White House's other narrative across the board has been going after the oil executives. Now, before I go more into this, I want to tell you where we're going in this recording. This is a special report for Afternoons LA today, more than ever before. And in what we do in this report today? In this report today, we are going over what is happening with this recession, why the recession will definitely happen, and why the person to blame the recession is the President of the United States, the President of Germany, the President of France, the President of Italy. They are all to blame. Their hands are on it. And I'll tell you why it is starting right now. A recession has a series of domino effects, and that recession will happen because those domino effects are starting already. And unless someone changes course, which they said they're not, we're going to recession. Let me explain what's going on in this breaking news report. Gasoline, when you have a lot of it, is cheaper. When you have less gasoline, and I don't mean just in the United States, I mean internationally, then the price goes up. When there's gas shortages of gasoline internationally, gasoline goes higher. Very simple. Gasoline is often described as barrels of gasoline when you're talking about its price. And when you're talking about the pump, we're talking about how many gallons you pay for gasoline at the pump. There are a lot of countries that pump gasoline, but there's only 5 countries that pump a lot of it. And they pump a lot because they're in the business of doing it. And they are Venezuela, Brazil, Iran, OPEC Plus, which is a consortium of many countries, and one of those sub-countries, Saudi Arabia. The United States is not pumping a lot of oil. Also among the countries that pumps a lot of oil, Russia. Now, what happened? What happened was back in October of last year, on this channel, yours truly said, there's 100,000 Russian troops at the Ukrainian border. I don't know much about Ukraine, but I know a lot about Russia. And I hope they don't invade, because if they invade, we're going to have big problems with oil. Who also said that at the time? We learned in about February, someone who also said that at the time was Joe Biden to this person, Janet Yellen. He said, Janet, there's 100,000 Russian troops at the Ukrainian border. What are among the problems we could worry about? She said, gasoline. He said, go analyze the situation. She didn't. We know this because her undersecretary appeared on broadcast news saying, we don't have a solution lined up. Okay, that was October. Jump forward to March 2022. Putin invades. Putin invades, and the price of gasoline, international Brent crude, which is the benchmark, jumps from $100 to $120 in just a few days. Really high. Immediately when I think it went to 113, and then it went to 120 a few days thereafter. I, myself, broadcast media, financial analysts all said if this price of gasoline sustains itself from now on March to May, we're going to recession. Well, it did. But before we get to what happened in May, let me tell you what happened. As soon as Putin invaded Ukraine, what did the Western allies, which are Germany, France, the United States, Italy, and countries like that, talk about? Banning Russian oil for moral reasons because of what they were doing in Ukraine. Now, here's something sort of obvious. If you eliminate something from one place, you have to go buy it somewhere else. I'm banning internet service for all of you from this company tomorrow. Yeah, but I got to watch your show tomorrow, LA. How do I watch your show? Go get it from another internet company. Okay, fine. In the case of gasoline, the Western allies never had that other company lined up, or in this case, country. Never had another country lined up. They went in and banned Russian oil. Banning the Russian oil, and at the same time, OPEC Plus reduced their output of capacity, resulted in a missing 3.5 million barrels of gasoline a day, starting the month of March. Alarm sounding. Obviously, you're missing 3.5 million barrels a day. Gasoline's going to go higher. You better go get the gasoline. It's sort of like honey. We're almost low on milk. Can you go buy some milk? No, let's just wait. How about when you're in the car? Honey, we're almost out of gasoline driving the car. No, let's just wait. We There's actually a couple of YouTube videos that are very funny, comedy, where someone says, I'm running out of gasoline. Let's keep on driving. Let's see how far we can get until we completely run out of gasoline. That's what the Western allies did. They never got the gasoline lined up. What happened? Prices went higher and continue to go higher. Now, what does this mean for recession? In America, we have a lot of different numbers that determine a lot of different things. But when you determine inflation, you have to look at a key series of benchmarks. There's different benchmarks to look at to determine what is inflation. Inflation is how much prices have gone up. But generally, the Federal Reserve uses a lot of different benchmarks and prefers one. The one it usually does not use is the Consumer Price Index, otherwise known CPI. But this month, the Federal Reserve said we're using CPI. This is a shocker because the CPI is the one that you and I would normally use. It's a consumer price index. It's basically how much is the consumer paying for a product. Other item benchmarks the Federal Reserve has used in the past is how much the producer is using for the item or the wholesaler using. This time the Federal Reserve said, no, I'm using the one that the Americans usually use today. Consumer Price Index. That CPI is dependent upon two numbers. Yeah, here you go. Gasoline goes higher, the CPI goes higher. CPI goes higher also based upon goods in the stores. This is what Joe Biden and the Western allies did to that CPI. When Joe Biden and the Western allies did not get the gasoline lined up to replace the missing 3.5 barrels of gasoline a day, gasoline went higher. Then that drove the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, higher. And with that, it drove the federal interest rates higher as well. Let me explain how that comes on in. The Federal Reserve has a dual mandate, means it has two focuses it's supposed to do in its operations. Price stability, which is another way to say keep prices stable, don't have inflation where they go up 300%. And second, keep maximum employment, meaning have as many Americans employed as possible. The Federal Reserve has a dual mandate with those two items, but the Federal Reserve has really not done it as a dual mandate. It's been chasing getting inflation under control more than getting the labor situation stabilized as well. Some people believe that labor is really good right now. It's sort of good, but it's sort of not. With 230,000 new jobless claims last week, I'll have today's number tonight on Evenings LA. But what did Jay Powell say last week? The Fed governors and himself looked at the CPI, which went higher, And he said, because it went higher, we're going to raise interest rates to battle inflation, to bring price stability intact. And what did they do? They rose interest rates 3/4 of a percentage point. That's a lot, folks. We haven't seen a rise that high since the 1990s. Now, myself and analysts like, I think it's JP Morgan Chase, are saying 3/4 in July, coming up. This was the June announcement. Then they're off in August, 3/4 in September, half an interest rate spike in October and November. Does this feel very severe? It does feel very severe. And one thing I've never ever explained before on this channel, well, I'm going to do it right today, is that you have a job with an employer or you buy goods with a business. That business generally operates on a little bit of debt or a lot of debt. They have delivery trucks and they're generally leased with lease car payments. That's interest debt. Or they have manufacturing, or they're shipping, or they have merchandising machines in the stores. They're leased. That is debt. Well, guess what? It costs a lot more to run that business when your interest rates are through the roof. Whether they have evolving credit line or whatever, how they operate, all businesses run on some type of debt. And now that debt is going through the roof. When the debt goes through the roof, guess what happens? They lay you off. They won't have 5 truck drivers, they'll have 3. They won't have 20 machinists, they'll have 4. And suddenly Americans are going to be laid off because Jay Powell is chasing that lower interest rate. Now, this is what's going to happen very abruptly, and it will likely happen in the next 90 days. That song that's now trending as the #1 song in America about the Great Resignation, really, I don't know. I love the song. We all need great music, but I don't think the timing of the song is really on point, because between now and September, people are going to lose their jobs because the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates, and it's going to be too hard for the business to get that current level of debt sustainable. They won't be able to run their business with the current level of debt. And as people lose their jobs, guess what's going to happen between now and September? They're going to have a rude awakening. They're going to go next door and say, hi, I'd like a job, and I want a salary raise, and I want a bonus also, and I want paid leave, and I want all these wonderful things. And then the guy doesn't answer the door, and then they see the sign on the door. It says, shut down for business for good. Yes, business closures will pick up. And guess what's going to happen to those business closures? Those individuals who close their businesses are going to realize, wait a second, I need some assistance. I need an EIDL grant. There is no EIDL grant. There is no EIDL loan for businesses. There is no unemployment stimulus for PUA, FPUC, EI, or LWA, or PPP. They don't exist. And suddenly people are going to be frantic. They're going to be frantic because they were not prepared for this when this started. Let me tell you what's going to happen. In a very short period of time, people are going to have big financial problems between now and September. Now, what happens thereafter? September to January is when it's going to mirror, really, day 1 of the lockdown of March 2020. It's going to be very severe, but that's still not going to be a recession. Nearly 40% of Americans polled believe this is the recession right now. You know why that's so scary? Because this is not that bad. This is not that bad. If they think this is as bad as it's going to get, oh boy, it's going to get a lot worse, and that's just going to be as worse as day 1 of the lockdown. That's coming in September. Then the recession, when is that coming? Next year in the United States. Now, let's make it very clear. On A News LA tonight, I'm going to detail why in Europe, there's a lot of countries, as Europe is vaguely referred to as often, and there's concerns tonight that a few of those countries may already be in recession. We don't really know as Western news analysts. We don't know because we don't have access to as much data as they have there. If they're in recession, they could draw us into recession sooner and quicker than ever before. Now, here's what you need to know when thinking about that recession. There's going to be a rude awakening from Americans who just feel that they're entitled to always be bailed out by the federal government. And when they realize they're not getting bailed out, they're going to be shocked. Let me tell you about a series of new articles that have been released the last few days. And the series of new articles released are talking about stimulus checks, the pure ones, where it's just, a check in the mail, $200, like the second one, or $1,000. Series of new reports says there will never be recessionary, there will never be stimulus checks if they're for inflation, because this concept is that you don't send a stimulus check for inflation. But for recession, maybe there will be. Now, you already saw the graphic. The recession's next year, so no one would ever send you a stimulus check before the recession happens. So you need money right now, right? Of course, you're not going to wait for a check next year. And that a lot of people are trash talking the notion of why the second and the first had multiple checks, that they think, it's just not a good look to have multiple checks. Here's what you need to know. Congress is also going on recess. It's going on recess in August. So the time horizon between now and phase two's start of September is less than 90 days. Can Congress get you any money in your hand in next 90 days? Absolutely not. And that's why you got to watch for the second half of this video, where I get you 4 stimulus checks, which are already law. They're not coming from Congress. You don't have to wait around for them. They're law right today. Anyone who says whatever happened to the Build Back Better Act, well, guess what? I guess you have a lot of money in the bank that you can ask that question. Because if you're asking that question and you are ready for September, whatever happened to Build Back Better Act, when are they voting on Build Back Better Act? My response is, you must have a lot of cash in the bank, because that means you're ready for the financial downfall of this economy in September. No one from Build Back Better Act could ever send you a check between now and phase 2 starting. I believe Build Back Better Act will happen, but I also believe that phase 2 is going to be the most serious pivoting of the 3 phases across the board. The next 90 days is going to be very severe. That's why you got to get this 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Let me make it clear to you, if I haven't made it clear yet. 4 stimulus checks are in every U.S. state. Found them for you in month of March. Viewers said, "Like, can you find us 4 stimulus checks?" They were sent out by executive action by Joseph Biden. They're also in the states. They're non-broadcast media. They're non-print media. You're not going to hear them talked about in your local news or your local newspaper. This is why this is number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, heading to number 2. I get people money. I don't just record about the money. Tell you where money is right now, where it's going, and I also get you the money. And this money is huge. Single individual, $75,000 less, and go get it. Married couple, $150,000, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. If you rent, you own, you have children, you don't have children, go get it. And they're big checks. They're $80,000 checks. You got a 90-day leadway. Why? Because I tell you. Why? Because I get my analysis right and my projections right on the money. I told you we're going to recession last February. I was the first American broadcaster to record it. I was the first American broadcaster to say that inflation is going to come in at 8% last December and be here for many months. No one else is recording that. And I've been telling you for several months that September is going to be brutal. Brutal. The great news is that you have a leadway. You have an advance notice. You have advance warning. There's a storm out to sea. You're not going to tighten up the windows. You're not going to stockpile extra cans of tuna and water. You're going to get instead a stimulus check in every U.S. state. As many as you can, and keep on getting them. And how are you going to do it? You're going to watch the second half of this video, number 1. You're going to subscribe right on this video. And number 3, you're going to become a member. Under the video, click the link and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, a Calcino VIP. And the second half of this video, we'll go over these incredible checks and why you got to get them right now. 90 days is so close. It really is. I mean, look how close it is on the calendar. That's why you got to really hustle right away. You can't wait 9 months, 90 days, 9 weeks, 9 days, or even 9 hours. You need to become a member right this moment. Go right in the video where it says join this channel. Join right today and join the thousands of others who have gotten these big stimulus checks. We'll be going over them in a second. Plus, we'll be going over the new benefits that are coming to members in the membership newsletter. Get those 4 stimulus checks in the second half of this video with me. We'll go over more about why this recession is going to really be a pain for a lot of people who have no preparation lined up, and why you're going to be separated from them. It's going to be the people on point and the people not on point. We have a lot of great news coming up in the second half about how you're going to be prepared for the situation. And we'll look back over what happened last night with Jay Powell at the Federal Reserve. Breaking news left and right coming up after the commercial break. I'll see you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well.
Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now. Big second half of June 23rd, 2022's Afternoons LA. Tonight on Evenings LA, we have a big show. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And then we have our hit show, LA Live, that airs every night at 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right after that. Don't miss it tonight. If I was to describe to you, I have a question for you. If I was to describe to you two people, two neighbors, that were both told there's a hurricane about to hit their block in about 2 days, and one neighbor starts boarding up the house, getting extra food stocked, getting gasoline in the car, packing up the goods, putting their personal belongings in the car, and getting the family ready to leave and go. And the other neighbor says, you know what, I'll just wait and see if it happens. What do you mean, you just wait and see? I'll just wait. You know, I'm just sort of, I'd rather read a book. You know, if the storm hits, then it hits. But, you know, it's just too much work to prepare for a storm. How would you describe the person who didn't want to do anything to prepare for the storm? Lazy? That's the only expression I can figure out. And I know there's maybe a nicer adjective to use for that person, but that's the only adjective that, even if I think of a nicer way to say, indifferent? No, it doesn't embody the true what they're doing. They're lazy. Here's what's happening. A storm is about to hit. The storm is the downward spiral of this economy, and there's two different types of people. You and everyone else. That everyone else are lazy people. They're lazy. They do not want to know where the economy is by the day, by the hour. They don't want to prepare their family for where the economy is going and how badly it's going there. And finally, they believe that when things get bad, the federal government's going to be ready there with a wad of cash. I've seen some people on social media, especially on Twitter, saying, send out $6,500 first month checks and $2,000 checks every month for 3 years. Joe Biden just did you a $1 stimulus check yesterday for gasoline. Do you think he's going to do automatic $85,000, $95,000 stimulus checks just because? No. Now, it's nice to advocate, but it's also not nice to sort of prepare your family for a reality that doesn't exist. That is why there's two types of people. You and everyone else. You're not going to be everyone else, and you're not going to worry about anyone else, and you're not going to be them either. You're going to do three things for your family. First, you're going to watch this channel and subscribe and make sure you know where this economy every day is. And number two, you're going to get every check. Today, the situation in the economy is the following. First, the labor situation continues to unravel day in, day out. More people being laid off. Corporate layoffs are growing, but it's just a start. It's going to get a lot worse. We're going to grow from that to broad stroke corporate layoffs, then hiring freezes on a mass magnitude, which basically says we're not even interviewing anyone for the next 3 years, and then store closures. That progression has a long way to go. Number two, the stock market crash is just starting. Stock market crash is underway, but we have a long, long way down to go. 20% down, we're going to 45%. Housing market crash underway. Travel and leisure, hospitality, all getting worse. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state today. We're going to get those forced stimulus checks starting right now. These forced stimulus checks are in every U.S. state. Let's go over the eligibility. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more, go get them. How do you do it? You become a member, and then you get that newsletter Monday through Friday, and you get these checks, each of them, which we're going to go over starting right now, with the first one, $6,500 to $12,000. My focus on getting these checks are threefold. One, I need to have you prepare yourself for the downward spout of this economy. Number two, I need you to get big checks, not measly, ridiculous couple $100 checks. That ain't going to pay anyone's bills. Number three, I need to make sure that these checks have broad eligibility so most of you qualify for them. And lastly, I need you to get multiple of these checks, not just one. So the first check, how do you get this wonderful $6,500 to $12,000 check? It is a home weatherizing grant check. Step one, you become a member. Step two, you get the newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And step three, you go right down in the newsletter till you find where check A is, and you click and you apply. You go right into the nationwide website, you choose your state, you choose the homeowners weatherizing grant, and then you go get it. Then you're not going to stop there. You're going to go get check B. It's a wonderful $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's the homeowners grant check, and that wonderful check is for you if you rent, if you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, or more. If you're a single individual, $75,000 less, or a married couple, $150,000 less. How do you become a member? Get that newsletter, go in that newsletter Monday through Friday, and then go right down to check B. Find it, choose your state, choose click the map and choose your state, and go right in and apply and go get it. Then check C, even better. You're going to get this as well, especially if you're a renter. There you go. $2,000 a month over 12 months is what it's averaging at, but there's been a lot of viewers who've gone a lot more than that. It is for rent, utilities, mortgages. This is more. How do you get this? Go into the newsletter, go right down to you find check C. It'll tell you where to call, what to say, and how to say it. For the case of check C, you're making the phone call. Yesterday, I announced the brand new offering for members of this channel, and it's exciting. Later this week, going into the membership newsletter, will be a new offering. It will be a worksheet. It'll be a worksheet of a series of blank pages that are with a heading at the top and an LALATE logo of a Purple Hawk that'll give you the opportunity to take notes of what you hear in the recording, and they're separated based upon subject matters that I do in the recordings, like gasoline, the Federal Reserve, Build Back Better Act, things like that. It's important for you to take notes because that's where you earn. You learn, you earn. And we've seen that in recent days. When Lorraine told us, a longtime viewer of this channel, she started with a binder, and that binder is now full. You know what's also full for Lorraine? $130,000 in her wallet. She has got $130,000 in her wallet because she was not lazy. Lorraine gets money, calls and gets more money, calls and gets more money, takes notes, goes over her notes, listens to the recordings every day to make sure she's up to date by the minute, and she's not alone. Here are other people who have done that as well. $30,000 for rent. Incredible. Look at these incredible sums of money. Mark's brother-in-law, $15,000. This is all Chuck C stuff. And then he got $25,000 a year over 10 years, $250,000. Look at Nisi and Mark. Nisi's gone from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark, he was in the live chat 2 nights ago. He's gone from $32,000 to $166,000. These are people who are the embodiment of what is the word for it? Anti-lazy? They are anti-lazy. They're whatever the reverse of lazy is. They're anti-lazy. They pounce as Purple Hawks. This is what I've been teaching viewers on this channel since day one. You know what day one of this channel was? People had applied for the EIDL grant and the loan, and nothing had happened. And their applications were not being processed. They weren't getting paid. And I told viewers on this channel, this is what you're going to do. This, I think, was the first day or the second day of recordings. You're going to pick up the phone and call them as many times a day you can every single day. And viewers did it, and they got paid. Now imagine a person you've never met before, you do not know in me, and I press record in the very first video, and I say, you're going to start calling every single day until you get that application out of what I call the vortex. And viewers listened to me. They didn't know me. They believe me. They did it, and they start getting paid. That was 2020. There was a lockdown. In 2 years, there has grown generally, not on this channel, but generally somewhere else, this sort of laziness of the American people. They just sent me the first stimulus check by direct deposit. So will it come to my next account by direct deposit with a side of potato salad? It's just, I don't know where this apathetic laziness of the American people came from, where they just got so used to the concept of just, I don't have to do anything. Just give me things automatically. Folks, wake up. Wake up. If you think that 2022 is 2020 is 2021, it's not. Number two, there's a financial cliff coming. We learned that 2 nights ago, as Jay Powell said. When asked by Liz Warren, it's a possibility that we're going over a financial cliff because of what you're doing, Jay Powell. It is very possible, he said. The guy who's doing it said he may be sending you over a financial cliff. Should that scare the socks off of you? If that doesn't, then what does? The most important guy to deal with inflation in this economy says he may mess it up and he may send you over a financial cliff. If you're not rushing to look at your wallet right now to see how much money is in there, there's something wrong. He's giving you the warning signal. I'm giving you the warning signal. Elizabeth Warren's giving the warning signal. And when you're saying, you're just asking, is the side potato salad or coleslaw? No, stop it. Stop it right there. You need to go right into that back mode that we were on day one of this channel with that EI deal, grand and low, where you listened and you picked up the phone, you called 15 times in 2 days and you got paid. Now, I'm not saying the viewers of my channel act this way. I'm saying they're elsewhere. And I got to tell you, there's going to be a moment, we don't know what moment that is, maybe it's going to be September, where those people are going to be really, really angry at you. They'll be really angry at me because they'll come in and they'll say, you got a check? You got $80,000? Starting in March, why was I not told about it? I should have gotten the check. I live in your state. It should have come automatically. And they're not going to like you. They'll probably hate me more. They're not going to like you. And I got to tell you, this is how life works. This is how life works. When there is a storm out to sea and someone watches the wrong weather report that says it's tracking towards Florida, when you learn it's moved left, it's heading towards the Gulf Coast. I was watching the wrong channel. The storm moved to the left. You were going the European model, it's the American model. The storm turned the other direction. My goodness. Darn you. They're not going to be happy with you. They're not going to be happy with me. So I need you to prepare yourself and your family and sort of get the blinkers on because they're going to be coming around the corner. Getting these checks involves you focusing on the following things. Getting a understanding of where this economy is. And that involves watching all the new videos every day on this channel. Mornings LALATE, morning in the morning. How did I say that? Mornings LALATE, in the morning. And then afternoons in the afternoons. And then evenings in the evenings. You got to watch the shows because these give you guidance on where this economy is going. If the stock market was down 2,000 points today, I tell you. If Bitcoin crashed to 17,000 again, I tell you. And if there was a number one song in America right today about the great resignation and why everyone should just quit their job, I would tell you, I did in this video. You know what? It's a different environment. People were quitting their jobs in January, February because they had savings. Savings gone now. People quit their jobs in January, February because they heard about the Build Back Better Act and they assumed that, maybe I'll have some unemployment stimulus again for me because I just got it, 6 months earlier. There'll be some unemployment stimulus I get fired. Or moreover, I can go next door and I'll demand a salary raise, almost $10 up and a hiring bonus. I heard all over the news. Now those businesses don't exist. They're not even hiring at all. They have hiring freezes. Forget the bonus. They're not even hiring. And those people may not realize that. That's why you got to move and pivot very quickly across the board. Student loan debt forgiveness, I believe the president's going to do $10,000. I believe the announcement will likely come. Knowing Joe, he'll probably do it early August. He wants to have the congressman around him when he signs it into law. I can just see the visual. I'm not saying he does. That's my opinion of the situation. And so he'll do that before they leave town so they can all stand around the table while he signs it. I think it's going to be $10,000. Consumer confidence continues to erode. Stimulus checks. In their mind, you don't do stimulus for inflation, but you do it for recession. In my mind, you can't wait to the recession. That's next year. Layoffs will continue to grow, and then you're not going to Toledo, Ohio anymore for $500 of airfare because it's been removed from American Airlines tracking. Meantime, you need to do the following things at the household right now. Remove any adjustable rate debt. So credit card debt, car loans, either switch it to fix or pay it off, because J-Powell's going to hit you with those interest rate spikes. Number two, if you have a job, look for a replacement job in case you get fired. Start looking for that replacement job right now. Not saying take it, get it lined up, because there will be a job shortage. There's going to be hiring freezes. People don't realize this. It was even last night that people still say the labor market's really strong. It's not strong. There's a 250,000 unemployed, newly unemployed people every week. I mean, that's up to 250,000 people. That's just not a walk in the park. Meantime, let me bring you up to the situation with gasoline, because we started that early in this recording. Let me tell you where we're going. President of the United States needs to get 3.5 million barrels a day replaced for him and the Western allies. And so does Germany, France, and Italy. If they don't do that, they send you a recession. Now, what's also important to understand is that one of the things I never talk about is also what a gas shortage will do for world economies. It will be far more traumatic than even recession. In countries like Italy, they may likely tell their citizens, half of you cannot drive on even days and half of you cannot drive on odd days. You have to park your car. Yeah. Truck drivers may not be able to ship goods like they originally thought they're going to be able to ship the goods. And if they can't, guess how much the products are going to cost in the market. Yeah, you see where this is going. And what about airlines? Airlines may suspend travel altogether if they think the price of jet fuel has gone through the roof and they cannot charge you $500 to fly to Toledo. And they'll just say, you know what, we removed Toledo from our routing, but we're also just going to remove some destinations altogether because we don't see them financially viable with the jet fuel prices through the roof. You see this getting worse? It's getting really worse very quickly. School bus drivers, a lot of things could really go to the sidelines if you don't see this solved. And my prediction is you're not going to see it solved. You're not going to see it solved because there's been a problem since day one. What is the current narrative out of the White House? The current narrative of the White House is pitch a villain to the American people and hope the American buy it. They're not buying it. The villain is the White House saying that the oil executives are the villain. They're not the villain. They don't have 3.5 million barrels of gasoline in the ground. You know who's the villain? Well, yeah, you can fill in the sentence. The White House. The White House is the villain. They had to go get the gasoline when they removed the Russian oil. They didn't get their gasoline. The Western allies, they had to go get the gasoline. They didn't get the gasoline. I mean, this is sort of obvious. And I think there's going to be a point at which most Americans understand this. There's missing gasoline. Go get it. It only takes about 20 analysts to go on financial news over and over again saying, we don't have 3.5 million barrels on the ground. Stop saying that. It doesn't make sense. You have to go get it from Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. And you're going there and you didn't get us gasoline. You're the villain. And I think that epiphany has not hit, but it's going to hit really soon. Finally, J-Powell, dual mandate, unemployment and price stability. He's going to get price stability. You know how he's going to get price stability, which is no inflation or lower inflation? Throwing you a recession. When you go into a recession, then inflation is going to come down because you'll have no money to spend, and then consumer spending will drop and inflationary prices will drop as well because the producer will not be able to sell their products. Will he get that dual mandate fulfilled? No. He will have increased unemployment. That's what Liz Warren said last night. She said, you are going to throw us in a recession chasing inflation, and you're going to throw people on the streets for unemployment. And it's true. That's what's going to happen. That's why it all goes back to this guy. He doesn't get you the gasoline. He doesn't go out and write a check for some gasoline from those countries. We're going into recession. And we're going into recession, and the first step to heading to the recession of next year is the downward spiral of this economy between now and September. And guess what happens between now and September? Two things. One, Congress goes on vacation. Yeah, it's just always at that specific time when things get really bad. September. Look at that phase 1 graphic again. Look at these phase 1, 2, and 3 graphic again. Just when this is about to get really bad really quickly, guess what happens? They leave town. They'll be leaving town in August, right when we go into phase 2. And they come back in September, and guess what? The economy has hit like a brick. That's why you cannot sit around and say, what day is they voting on Build Back? What day is it automatically? What day? When? when this is going to be happening. And your economy is going to be in big trouble very, very quickly. That is why I care for you deeply, and that is why, since the month of March, I've been getting people on this channel big checks. You go get these big checks today. You don't play games any longer. Playing games is being lazy. Not you, but anyone else on this channel. Welcome to all the incredible new members. Incredible new subscribers. Every night there's a new subscriber. Every time there's a new member. If you're in the live chat and you see me in the live chat and I've not given you a shout out in the live chat as a new member, please tag me, and I'll try to give you a shout out as well. I welcome all the new members because these are people who want to learn to earn. These are people who want to prepare their families for this economy and where it's going. It's not a 2-week walk in the park. It's 2 years, because this recession will be going on for 2 years. They're doing a great job by preparing their family with all these sums of money and learning about how to prepare other things like removing financial debt, where it's flexible base interest, and increasing consumer savings, and also removing expenditures in the household as much as you can. That is the type of viewer I love. That is the type of viewer that's coming to this channel. That's the type of viewer that is becoming a member. Go right on this video and subscribe and stay and become a member. And join me in just a few hours from now. It's Evenings LALATE, America's most watched show in prime time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. And have a beautiful afternoon on Afternoons.